Have you ever felt?
Are you listening?
With veganism on the rise, Generation Vegan interviews the up-and-coming hottest vegans. And in this podcast, we teach you the practical side of having a plant-based diet. Today, we're talking to Joey Schloeder. He is a recently graduated college student in Southern California. He is going to do a full case study all about veganism, going from meat eating to a straight plant-based lifestyle. But I'll let him tell you about it. Let's jump on in. Welcome back to Generation Vegan, everyone. I am honored and stoked to be interviewing Joseph. What's your last name?
Schloeder. It looks like Schloeder, and you can call me Joey.
Schloeder.
Schloeder.
Okay.
There you go.
And I will call you Joey. But he is a brand new vegan. He's been vegan for about a month and a half. Is that right?
That is correct. Today's day 34, actually.
And, of course, I'll be linking his YouTube in the description of this interview, but everything is going to be documented on his YouTube. It's really interesting to watch. He's doing an entire case study. Of course, I'll let him tell you more about that, but I just wanted to introduce him and jump into the information.
Hey, guys. Thank you, Danny, for having me. I think this show is the coolest thing ever. I think this is what the vegan world needs. And I want to say something at the beginning of this interview because I just feel like if people take anything, the early viewers from this interview, I want people to know that I make vegan content because vegans have very bad PR. So when you ask someone randomly on the street, what do you think of like a vegan, or what do you think of vegans? They'll tell you, oh, they're crazy, they're over the top, because the people that are radical, they're the ones that get the attention, and those are the ones that you hear about. So I make content because I want people to see a regular person just trying something and experiencing it for themselves. And the more regular people that make vegan content, the better. So I encourage anyone watching this to just post something.
Yes, I love that. That's actually, I know that you actually watched a little bit of one of my episodes, and I was like, oh my gosh, thank you.
Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, this isn't a front. This isn't something that I'm doing because, I'm trying to like grow a brand. I actually am interested, and I'm interested in the community, and I love that you reached out to me. This is like the highlight of my day and my week and my month even. Like, I am excited right now.
Yes. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you want to do this besides the PR bad for the vegans. What made you want to do this like social experiment?
Okay, well, I've been bodybuilding for the last 5 years, and throughout that process, I've been trying to just improve my diet, right? And obviously, when it comes to like an optimal bodybuilding diet, it's high protein, it's kind of like lean fats and stuff like that, or pardon me, lean meats. And veganism is something that's very popular online. It's this growing movement, especially in the bodybuilding community. So there's these guys that I was following on YouTube just because of fitness started going vegan, and I was kind of like thrown back, like, why are they doing this? And next thing you know, they're presenting research, and like you're seeing doctors come out recommending the vegan diet. So I wanted to try it for myself.
Could you name drop a few of the people you were looking at?
Yeah, Brian Turner is one, and I've been following for a long time. That's Humorous Fitness, and I feel like I have a personal connection with him because he went through the whole acne thing too, and
yeah,
I've been on 2 cycles of Accutane, and that's kind of how I started watching his channel, and I've grown with him. Like, my skin cleared as his cleared, and I'm going vegan as he goes vegan, so it's interesting. And VeganGains is someone who, like, he's Richard. He's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
But he does put out some pretty strong arguments for veganism, and he does it in a way, and like I said about the bad PR, sometimes he goes over the top, and a lot of people see it and go, oh, he's just a lunatic. But yeah, so I'm 23. I turned 24 in exactly a week, May 3rd. I'm at university right now. I'm actually on campus right now. I go to Cal State Long Beach, Southern California, obviously, and veganism is really popular around here, so it's actually not too hard. I work in Hollywood, and there's tons of vegan spots around my work, so I don't have to prep meals as much as someone from, say, Texas or something would. The case study is something I want to talk about. Obviously, that's why I'm here. That's how you found me. What I'm doing is I'm tracking the transition from an animal product diet to a vegan diet, and I feel like that's a unique opportunity because that's something that hasn't been done to my knowledge. A lot of people who are advocates of the vegan diet are already vegan, so they can't track the change. So
right.
There's 3 main things I was trying to measure. I went to my doctor, got my testosterone levels checked. So kind of just like my health vitals, things like that, my vitamin B12, just things that might be affected by getting off meat and dairy. And then I want to measure my athletic performance. So I did a 40-yard dash, a high jump, a long jump. And then last but not least, I'm doing my body composition, which is my muscle mass, my fat mass, and then my lean mass index, my FFMI is the measure. So if I could build muscle as a vegan and I could show this in a 12-week period, then I see no reason for me not to do it. And people, you know what, vegans might not actually like the results. I might come back and say, I will report whatever happens. So if I lose muscle mass, then that's something I have to report. So far, so good. I feel good, I feel lean, and I feel strong. So I think the indications are good right now, but I will not know until the end of the study. So definitely follow that on YouTube.
So would your losing of the muscle mass necessarily be a bad thing, or would that just be observation?
Yeah, I think it'd be a bad thing for people who are trying to build muscle, because if that is your goal, if bodybuilding is your life, and that's what my channel is, it's muscle and mind. So it's like, it's fitness advice is half of it, and then like nutrition advice is the other half. And the vegan is like a new twist I'm putting on it. So a lot of my viewers are young men, and they want to be adding muscle, and that's what they do. They lift weights. So if I switch to a vegan diet and I lose muscle mass, then yeah, people would see the vegan diet as a non-optimal way to build muscle.
And I think that's really honorable of you to like just report exactly what it is. I'm gonna do the same thing. Like I had a body. I was at 9% body fat, and I competed in this show, and then I didn't work out for almost a year. And so right now I'm kind of getting back, and I want to build my body on a vegan diet just to kind of show that you can do it. But I will be following you on YouTube because I'll be getting tons of information from it.
Nice. I know you can build muscle as a vegan. This is not something that's completely new, because people have done it pure vegan. There's been people who've been bodybuilding for years, but I just wanted to track the change, because maybe your body reacts a different way when you hop on that vegan diet. And that's what people are scared of. Guys are afraid of, if I take my whey protein shakes out and chicken breast and all that stuff, I don't want to shrivel up, you know? And that's kind of what it's my hope that I prove that is not the case, but we'll see what happens.
So are you going to be reporting your macros and all that every day, or?
Not every day. So right now my macros, it's like 2,930 calories. I just did a video actually on kind of like what I'm typically eating, and I just changed it again. People gave me a lot of good feedback in one of my most recent videos. The video, by the way, was like 5 easy vegan meals. That's the video I just recently did, and it's how I reach those protein numbers. I get 180 grams of protein a day as a vegan. 60 grams of it is through supplementation. But what I just started adding that kind of has like changed my world is shakes, and you can get 700 calories easy in the morning in a shake, all your greens in, tons of fruit in, and that is just, it's been really helpful for me getting my calories.
So the guy I was just interviewing right before you, he does the same thing. He does nothing but shakes, and he's like a bodybuilder, and well, he has a bodybuilder style workout body and all that stuff. So he was talking about the same thing, and every person I interview is not dating, and they're vegan. And I don't know if that has to do with our mentality or the fact that we kind of are like, I don't know. What do you think it is?
I think it's hard because not only do I have to, I think I have high standards. I think I do. I like women that, you know, they have the whole package, and that's just a personal thing. And then you throw in the fact that they have to put up with my ass when I say, oh, I can't go there to eat, or, oh, I have to pack a meal, or I have to go out of my way. And even the YouTube thing, YouTube can kind of get in the way, but I'm dedicated to finishing this, and I finish things I start. And so society doesn't make it easy for us to congregate. And how do we even meet? I feel like we should have chat rooms and hang out. What are you doing? What are you doing tonight?
I completely agree with you. There is a vegan dating site, but
what's it called?
I think it's called Vegan.
Meet a Vegan? MeetAVegan.com? Meet a Planthead?
Meet a Vegan.
Nice.
Here, let me look it up. I actually am not in the vegan. I'm not in the dating. I'm kind of in the dating scene, but like you said, I have high standards, and it's like the top 5 things that a guy has to have are pretty much ridiculous. So, ergo, I'm single.
Yeah, well, I don't think you'll have any problems. You're a beautiful girl.
Well, thank you. And there's vegan matchmakers, there's veganpassions.com, and there's veggiedate.org.
I'm down for vegan passion. That's what I'm into.
I love it. So has there been anything so far that you've struggled with or you found really hard to give up as far as animal products?
Absolutely not. Nothing's been hard to give up. I kind of talked about this in my most recent video too. I don't really like eating. It's a biological need. It's something you need to do to sustain your life. But if you were getting sex 10 times a day, I bet you wouldn't enjoy it as much or maybe some people would, but I know I wouldn't. And I kind of compare that to eating. If I need to eat too many calories, it's not fun for me. And I get off work sometimes, and I am a very busy person. So like I'm always on the go, and I'll get off work, I'll get home at 11 o'clock, and it's like, well, I need 800, 900 more calories. and I have to sit there and put food in my mouth and swallow it, and it sucks. And when you're not hungry or when you're not satisfied or you're not, into the food, your mouth doesn't salivate. So it just becomes really hard to just like pre-digest this food and swallow it. So I have to like chase food with water. It sucks. I don't like doing it.
That's really, I cannot relate at all to that. So that's crazy. I mean,
and that's because women, or I don't want to say women because that generalizes it, but people who weigh less, right? So most women on average weigh less than men, and they require less calories to sustain their body weight. So if you're 120 pounds, let's say, I don't know, 120-pound woman might need to eat 1,800 calories to sustain her body weight, whereas someone who is 185 pounds like myself needs to eat around 3,000 to sustain body weight. So I'm not a naturally hungry person, and the fact that I have to eat that much is not fun for me. I'd rather eat 2,000 calories a day because I could enjoy it more.
But then how do you keep your protein up? I mean, how do you keep your muscles up? Not really your protein, but your muscles.
Exactly. I couldn't, because if I was eating 2,000 calories a day, my weight would start to decline.
Right.
And then if your weight is declining that rapidly, your muscles will not grow and probably start to atrophy and shrink as well.
Very interesting. I'm so happy you're on here to give us a different spin of a different outlook. Like you can connect.
I'm happy I'm here too.
Don't like to eat.
Yeah. Did you just ask me a question? Did I miss something? I'm sorry.
No. So can you show everyone where you're at right now? Like move your computer around.
Oh yeah. So you guys want to be on? I'm with two friends right now, actually. This is that's Jessica and that's Will.
Hi, friends.
I'm at a little pub at my school called the Nugget, and this is where we come to hang out. They sell beer here, so we can get a beer mid-class, and it's a fun place.
So when it comes to vegan, I mean, I'm not the vegan police whatsoever. I'm like the farthest thing from vegan police. But when it comes to beard, what do you think about that? Are you going to kind of follow the vegan rules with that? Or are you kind of like...
For beer?
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about you inform me right now? Because you're blowing my mind. I thought beer was vegan. I didn't think there was a problem. Are you telling me right now that beer isn't vegan?
Okay, so there's an app, and it's called Barnivore, Barnivore.
Okay.
And it tells you which ones are vegan and not vegan.
I am like a Mexican beer guy. Like I like Modelo, and like I hope that's vegan, because that's probably been my... Are you looking it up?
I'm gonna look it up. Modelo.
I kind of just said that I drink beer here as like a, that's like kind of what happened. I don't drink when I'm at school. Like I'm not an alcoholic. I'll have like a beer a week. It's not like it's something I'm doing all the time.
It is vegan.
Modelo is?
Yeah.
All right.
So have you noticed anything like different in the last month and a half that would be like with the vegan? I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought because I saw a spider and it freaked me out. I'm sitting in my
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's my little shooting area. So have you noticed any side effects that aren't typical vegan side effects, like energy, or what side effects have you noticed?
Increased energy is definitely one of them. Yes, energy, and I kind of like equate that to increased carbs. It's a less taxing diet on your body. It's easily digested, and it's easily converted into energy, because anytime you increase your carbs and simple sugars, you're going to see an increased energy. And that's something I have been experiencing. My workouts have been great. I feel lighter, and not to get, it's a little too weird here, but
woo-woo.
Bowel movements, right? Used to be like maybe one every day or maybe one every 2 days, right? I mean, like, yeah, but as a vegan, it's literally like 3 times. It's 2 or 3 a day at least.
Yeah.
And I feel so much lighter. I just feel like all that is out of me. And yeah, I don't know. That's definitely something. And then, yeah, my skin has been looking really good. And that's, like I said, with Brian Turner, and vegans have seen results with their skin. So that's something I was kind of hoping for. And this is the clearest it's been in a very long time. So
Oh, yeah, that is awesome. Your skin does look really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're like, thanks. Oh. Do you find it hard to socialize, like, with your friends? Like, how do you order at restaurants or really just be in society?
Yeah, I don't know. At school, like I said, I live in Southern California, which if you're going to go vegan, Los Angeles is probably one of the best areas to do it because there are vegan options at most places. Like, even on my campus, we have a place called Beach Walk, and they have like a grain wrap and chips that are vegan, and that's kind of my go-to if I don't prep a meal. But for the most part, I will prep my meals and take them with me. I'll take meals to work sometimes, and even at my work, I'll get food and I'll have the cooks prepare me something vegan. So, and they're kind of getting used to that. At first, they were like, "What?" But like, yeah, we have an Asian place that makes vegan fried rice with tofu, and I don't eat too much tofu, but I'm starting to eat more, and I really like tofu. It's actually really good. Like, if you cook it right, it's delicious, especially in fried rice. You just make fried rice with eggs, little soy sauce, and oil, and it's good stuff.
And so that actually brings me to my next question. How do you feel about soy? Like, do you feel like it's going to give you the quote-unquote bitch tits and all that?
So I eat soy. I don't want to overdo soy, but I'm not worried about it. And kind of what I've found from my own research on it and listening to people, because if you just take if you take opinions from people online, you'll hear two very different groups. And it's people that say soy will give you man boobs, it will increase your estrogen, and then, it's not a good thing.
And you'll die.
But then there's the other side, like VeganGains, Richard, and a bunch of other people that say, no, it's a phytoestrogen. It's something that does not affect your testosterone. And if anything, it has like estrogen blocker. It has like a compound in it that reduces estrogen. So I've heard from some people. So you could actually see testosterone increases from soy. And there's so much conflicting ideas about it, but I think everything in moderation is fine. I don't want soy to be my main source of protein, just like I don't want anything to be my main source of protein. So I'll eat soy if it's available or if it sounds good to me that day, but I don't want to supplement too much soy. But I don't think there's going to be a problem. Like I said, I believe it's a phytoestrogen. I believe it's something that does not react in the body the same that animal estrogens do.
Right.
So I don't think it's like an instant transfer of estrogen. I don't think I'm taking an estrogen, therefore I will have higher estrogen. I think it's a lot more to it than that.
Right. So what protein shake have you switched it over to?
It is by Vega. It's called Protein Greens. Vega is awesome. It's unbelievable. And I even try to avoid chocolate. I don't know. I feel like chocolate always did something to me, like to my stomach, and I feel like I break out when I eat chocolate. So I don't do chocolate flavored anything anymore. Okay. I do vanilla flavored. It's by Vega, called Protein Greens. It's the best I found as far as like high protein content, cost effective. A tub of it, I forgot the weight of it, but it's $25 for a tub, and it has 21 servings of 20 grams of protein. So you're talking like $1.15 a serving, and you're getting 20 grams of protein, which it's rare, because you've seen like hemp proteins and things like that might have like 8 to 10 grams of protein per scoop. And yeah, it's good stuff.
So when you get done with your experiment, which is over when? You're going to do 30 days? Is that what you said? 30
days? No, it's a 12-week experiment.
Oh.
So today is day 32. I'd have to look at my calendar. I don't remember the dates exactly, but I started March 22nd, I believe. So add 12 weeks to that. I don't really have the end date in front of me here. But yeah, 12 weeks. But you add, what is that? That's 12 weeks would be 3 months. So from March I'll be doing this till June, late June.
So you said for people that are looking for, the bigger bodies and building the muscles, and if you come to the conclusion that you lose muscle, would that affect your decision on staying vegan, or what are you going to do after that?
Yeah. As for where I go after this experiment, I think it hinges on the results. And I believe that veganism is the best diet as far as health goes and for the environment. But is it optimal for building muscle? I don't think it is, but I think if I could prove that it's possible to build muscle, that'll be enough for a lot of people to say, you know what, it's worth it. So as for my plans after the experiment, I'm not too sure. I could tell you right now, I will never go back to dairy and cheese. I will never go back to eggs. If I were to ever add anything again, I guess I could kind of see myself adding just chicken, and it would be in moderation. I don't think it has to be so cut and dry. I was just talking to a friend about this. It doesn't have to be so vegan or animal product. I could prep meals for the week vegan, but then, I go to lunch with my mom one day and she wants to go somewhere. I could find an option that might be, you know, a lean meat, something like that. And if you do it in moderation, it's not a big deal. You can still advocate for it. You can still convince people to change their lifestyles. So you could do a lot, even if it's not cold turkey, and even if it's not just total avoidance of meat.
I totally agree, and I think that the battle between, well, you messed up one time, so you're not vegan, and you know, it's like ridiculous. It's like if you give up meat 4 to 5 times a week, you're going to be making a drastic change in your health, in the environment, in the world, and it's irrelevant if you do it 100% of the time. Of course, that's ideal for everyone. We all want to do it 100% of the time, but to freak out over, like you said, going to lunch with your mom, getting a nice salad with a little bit of chicken on it, in your case is fine. For me, the only thing about that is I really focus on the energetic part of it. So I totally believe that we ingest the energy of the meat. There was this crazy study done by this guy who he actually did a whole study on the survivors of the Holocaust and their kids. I don't know if you saw that in the interview that you watched, but he did an entire study of the kids of the Holocaust, not the survivors, and 100% of them had PTSD, insomnia, depression, and anxiety. And it's like it all had to do with the fact that the mothers were stressed, like at high levels for a long time in their life. And that's why the kids are like that. So if you take that to animals and like what they go through from the time they're born to the time they die, they pretty much have high stress, high depression, high anxiety, you know, insomnia, and then we turn around and eat that meat, then it's hard to fight. It's hard to battle depression when you're ingesting the hormones and energy of other animals. So other than that, that's the only thing that would hold me back, but I totally agree with what you're saying.
That is very interesting. I guess I've never thought of it that way, that the energy could be something that is transferable. And I'm sure that if that is the case, there's, you know, a chemical reason for that. But I don't think I've ever heard that point be made, but I'm going to look into that because that's very interesting. Like it makes sense. So you believe in like sustainable raising of animals. Does that change your opinion on veganism at all?
So, okay, I did make a few comments like earlier in my earlier episodes, and I still believe this. My perfect utopia, it would be, oh, look at this wind in my hair. Yes.
Oh, look good. Get it.
It would be, I would have my own farm. I would have my own animals, and I would raise my cows. They would be happy. They would have organic food. And then somehow or another, I'm not really sure how I would do it, I would kill the cow in a way that it had no idea that it was coming, and it was totally like 15 years old and super healthy and just like lived a great life. I don't know how I would do that, but that would be ideal to me. I just don't like, because that would be healthy me, and then I would only eat a little bit, like you were saying, every now and then. It's not going to totally kill me.
Yeah.
But that's just not, people think that idea is what you can buy at Walmart when you buy organic. That's not organic food. Like that's the same thing as meeting someone, like a girl at a bar, and being like, you want to have sex with her, and then you take her back to your place, and she's like, let's not use a condom, and you're like, I don't know you, and she says, yeah, but I haven't had sex in whatever 3 years.
Can't trust it.
You can't trust it, right? You're just like, okay, I don't know. That's the same thing when you buy organic, like from H-E-B or Walmart.
Yeah. So you see on the side of milk cartons, they'll have, you know, a green pasture, or they'll say organic or happy cows or whatever it is. And it's irrelevant because we've seen what happens in factories, and it's not a mystery anymore, but people don't care enough to do research. Either there's two types of people. There's people that are ignorant and don't know. And then there's people that know and don't care, you know, and that's either, I think one is worse than the other. And I think it's pretty obvious which one I think is worse, because if you know and you don't care, I mean, you're a part of the problem at that point. But and how about this? I know you were talking earlier about how we could like take in the energy of meat. How about dairy cows? How about cows that are being constantly raped and like drained for their milk? They are obviously under high amounts of stress, obviously, and that directly goes into their milk, and that's what they give to their young, and that's what they give to us. So if you're drinking dairy milk, it's not happy. It's not like this cow just sitting back, loving life, and then, oh, here's some milk. It's being raped for 5 years at a time, and after it's done with its cycle and it's unable to produce milk anymore, they send it off to a meat farm and they kill it for meat. So there's no such thing, especially with dairy. I think dairy is the worst thing of all time for humans. I don't think there's any reason we should ever ingest dairy ever. It's something that is meant to be given to baby cows to help them grow. And it's those essential nutrients and hormones for young, and it's meant to make them grow into adults. And when you're a full-grown human adult, you do not need that. It has more side effects than it is even worth.
Yeah, and when you, like, I would love for you to ask your friends or just really people in regular life, like, would you ever drink chimpanzee milk? Would you ever drink even your own mother's milk right now? Like, would you drink a glass of that? No, because that's weird and gross. You would not do that. So why? We've been so conditioned to be like, oh, cow's milk, that's totally normal.
So, want to hear what I got one time? I was talking to my friend Kelly about that, Kelly Simon. And anyway, what she said about milk, I was like, I literally presented that argument. I said, if I had a bottle of my mom's milk right here and I was drinking it, you would think this was weird. And what she said to me, she goes, oh, it's kind of like we don't eat humans, so why would we drink human milk? We eat cows, therefore we eat cow milk.
No, and that's terrible logic.
Well, I mean, I guess I get her point. Like, if that's the way you see things, like you do not ingest human products, you ingest animal products other than humans, so you're fine with drinking the milk of another animal, but it doesn't make nearly as much sense because we give it to our babies, and it's very culturally acceptable for us to give human milk to babies, but we stop once they get to a certain age, you know? Right. Like, why wouldn't we don't give cows milk to babies, do we? Is that a thing? No?
I probably was fed milk as a kid, but as a baby, I think. I mean, my mom might be on here, so she might be able to tell me, but Mom, did you feed me milk as a baby? I don't know, but all I know is the second I can remember, milk was very, very predominant in my family's cultures. Like, I was always drinking milk. I love cereal. I would drink like glasses of milk. So
my mom always, every night, finish her milk every single night at dinner, at the table. I had to finish my milk, build strong bones. And this whole marketing of milk has been so ingenious that it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable what humans think milk is and what it can do, because the calcium in milk is not even that high. It's not something that is going to build strong bones, and it's still believed today by general America, which is crazy.
I know. I don't truly understand how the government can allow the milk industry to tell us that it builds strong bones when there's all these studies that say it actually pulls the calcium from your bones and your hair and your nails and all that stuff. So how do you feel about that? The fact that they can lie to us, like, straight up. What do you think we should do about that?
I'm not shocked. Obviously, it should be changed, but I feel like anytime, that's a major problem with capitalism. There's going to be there's money involved, basically, and there's lobbyists, and there's reasons that we can't really change it in a snap or in a second. But I think with time and reform and constant effort from the people, that's why the internet is so freaking brilliant. We could create content and inform so many people about what's going on. Before, 30 years ago, no one would know. And if one person did a study and knew that, okay, milk is bad for your bones, how do they even get it out there? Who's going to publish it? That's all that is being run by the people that don't want to get out. So we have our own platform now, which is awesome. But yeah, I think it's horrible, but I think money is involved in everything as far as government goes, from politics to stuff like this.
Right. Well, and it's funny because people don't want to give up dairy, or there'll be like the vegetarians and they'll give up the meat and then they're like, oh no, I'm so cool with the dairy. But in reality, if you're eating cheese and milk, you're kind of contributing to the bill industry. And if you're going to contribute to the bill industry, I'm not saying you might as well eat meat. You just might as well eat meat. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's like they were talking about in Cowspiracy. People that, they don't support the eating of shark fin soup because they don't believe that you should kill sharks, right? And the people who were, making the documentary just said, it's better that you eat the shark fin soup. And people are confused about that. Oh, why? Because sharks aren't meant to be caught in a lot of places. They're actually by-kill. So they'll take giant nets and run them through the ocean. They're going for, let's say, one kind of fish. They just want, I don't know. Let's say they don't want swordfish. I don't know if that, anyway. But they'll get so many others, and they'll get, sharks are by-kill. So they have these sharks, and if you're not eating the soup, they're just going to waste, and they're being killed and thrown back into the ocean. So,
wow, I had no idea.
It's almost like if you want to support the ecosystem, you will eat the shark so that the dead bodies aren't being thrown back. That's kind of what they were getting at in Cowspiracy, and it's weird to think. And another, that by-kill example. So imagine, have you seen Cowspiracy?
I have.
Okay, so you remember the graphic with the giant net they had going through like the Saharas of Africa, just picking up every cow, giraffe, elephant, everything.
Right.
But let's say they're only going for giraffes, but they get tons of other stuff. That would never fly on land, but it flies underwater because people don't realize, people don't care. If they think a fish life is less significant to an animal's, that's kind of like the pyramid of what really matters. At the top is humans, the food pyramid, and then fish are damn near plants. You know, people will stop eating meat and go pescatarian, which is, it's the same thing.
Right. I actually was a pescatarian, and now I realize, well, a lot of people I know are pescatarians because they think it's healthy. They're like, oh, Mediterranean diet, let's just eat fish. But in reality, the fish are more toxic than the freaking cows and chickens.
And it's only getting worse. Yeah, so they might not be depressed. They might live better lives, but they're living in an environment that we are constantly polluting and poisoning. So even if you look at what's going on in Japan and Fukushima and the amount of runoff in the Pacific Ocean, and like I said, I live in Southern California, and I'm afraid to eat fish from the Pacific Ocean, which is basically all fish out here, you know? So when I was eating fish, I would really want to limit it because you don't know what's in the water and you don't know what type of toxicity you're getting from these fish. And that's even making me, I mean, not even just fish. Let's talk about the ocean as a whole. It's poisoning the seaweed and the kelp and everything that grows in the ocean, right? So if you're worried about toxicity from fish, you should be worried about toxicity in the seaweed and the kelp.
Yeah, it's so true. I love that. And you're so blessed to have been so enlightened, and you're only 23, right?
Yeah, 23 years old.
22, right?
No, I'm 23. I'm 24 in May 3rd.
That's so awesome. So have you gotten any haters or comments about this? Or
tons of them. The first vegan video I posted, I got like 3 comments. And my YouTube channel's not that big, but the first one I posted, I had a few people to say, screw this, I'm unsubscribing, because they just wanted the fitness content. And you know what? I kind of responded. I'm like, let them go, because right. This is bigger picture. This is something bigger than me. And this is what I want to do. And then even, just personally, I'm sure you were getting at like my personal life, my friends. My mom doesn't get it fully. I told her to watch Cowspiracy like a month and a half ago, and she never did. But she says she will. I don't have Netflix. But friends, they'll like kind of laugh at me and they'll scoff. And most of the time, I'm not the one who brings up veganism, because it's like veganism is like CrossFitters, right? Like if you do CrossFit, you talk about CrossFit.
Right.
But people think, oh, if you do vegan, you're that annoying person who talks about veganism every time. Right. And every time I can't eat something, it's like people assume I'm going to go, oh, I can't have that because I'm vegan.
I swear, no, it's so true. And people make fun of vegans or make fun of them for saying it every 10 minutes. But in my case, I feel like the only time I say it is because other people bring it up.
Exactly. It's like if you have a cast on your arm, right? People are going to ask you about the cast and you're going to talk about it. It's the same thing when you go out to eat and you order something completely different, or you pull out a meal and they say, oh, what is that? It's like, oh, this is my vegan meal that I prepped. And they're like, oh, how long have you been vegan? What's it about? And the next thing you know, I'm going on and I'm basically having the same conversation with people.
It really is. It's like, where do you get your protein? Well, I could never give up meat. Well, I love cheese too much. And just, it's the same thing. So you really, I don't know if you have done this, but go on YouTube and watch Gary Yourosfsky's speeches. He will give you the best scientific comebacks to every single one. You're like, oh, I could, I don't know. He just gives you the best comebacks. So if you need help on that.
Yeah, I will check that out, because like there's sometimes questions that you're just like, it's same with everything. But I would like some better comebacks. So I'm going to look into that.
I'm actually going to, for everyone that's listening, I'm going to be tagging Brian Turner's YouTube, VeganGains, and Gary Yourosfsky. Another thing about Gary, one of his comebacks, he says when people are like, but lions eat meat and blah, 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 like we're the top of the food chain. He's like, yeah, but when we walked in here, you did not sniff my ass. You did not. I see you have a cell phone. I see you wearing clothes. So why are you going to take one thing that lions do and want to mock it? When they eat their young, if they don't like them, they eat their young.
I'm not doing that.
Heck no.
And like I said, it's completely irrelevant that people make that argument, because to me, if people, I haven't really talked about why I'm vegan. I talked about like what I want to find and like this and that, but I haven't talked about my reasons for going. And it's environment is number one. It's giving a good world to my kids that I plan on having one day. And if I can't do that, if I'm not being responsible about that, and I don't at least fight for that, because look at where the world's going right now. This rapid growth we have with just industry and technology and everything, the world is changing. And the population is growing so fast, projected 9 billion by 2050. And by then we're going to have 9 billion mouths to feed that want meat 3 times a day. And it's not going to happen. So environment's number one. Next, the ethical reason will be number 2 for me. And ethics, here's something that I will not argue with people. If people say, oh, I don't care about killing chickens, I will, I understand. It's a circle of life. And just because I might not feel like it's the best way to eat, I'm not going to judge someone for it. I believe everyone should have their own right when it comes to ethics and animals. And then the third thing is health. I think health and longevity. People throw the word health around so much. Oh, that's a health food. Oh, chicken breast is healthy. And when you think about health, it's really defined as one thing. It's meeting your goals, whatever your goals are. So if you're trying to build muscle, this is a food that's healthy for building muscle. But for most people, when people say health, they're referring to longevity and sustainability and like basically minimizing all-cause mortality, minimizing death. So when you talk about the biggest killer of humans, which is heart disease, heart disease is not talked about as the biggest killer. People talk about cancer, people talk about all these other things, but heart disease is number 1. So the biggest cause of heart disease is cholesterol and animal products. So it's so obvious to me that you remove that and you increase your potential lifespan off the bat. And that's something that I feel like can't be argued with,
So did you go through a personal training certificate course or anything?
Yeah, I did. Last summer, I went through the NASM, which is the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I went through that course, and it took me about like somewhere, I think like 3 to 6 months. And it's self-taught. You could choose to go to class. You could choose to get video lessons, but I actually just did self-taught because I had been bodybuilding at that time for 4 years, and I was very interested in like the concept. And I've been training. I had a neighbor of mine, and I have a home gym, which is a nice home gym. I had a neighbor of mine who I was kind of training, and he was like, yeah, I'll pay you. So I was kind of like doing this thing, and I was like, I could actually like, this is something I could see myself doing. So I got certified, and then I got the certification, and I started personal training. And what I realized was it was such a narrow view, and I'm a horrible personal trainer. And I think it kind of says a lot about me as like a horrible businessman, because think about this. If you're a personal trainer, your goal is to have a client for a long time, right? Because it's constant money. But what I found myself doing was giving them too much. I would teach them. So if you're a good personal trainer and you want to make money off people, you will keep them in the dark just enough to the point that they need you, and they always need you. So you'll give them their macros, and you'll give them a workout, but you never will tell them why. You don't tell them why they're doing something. For me, I would sit down with my clients and I would be like, all right, today's lesson, this is what we're talking about. And I'd be like, all right, so bicep separation, you have the long head and the short head. And it's all about pronation of the forearm. If you have a pronated forearm, it works a short. And I would start getting technical with stuff. And eventually they would know enough to the point that they didn't need me. And I found myself, I'm like, holy crap, I'm teaching. I'm literally teaching. I'm not just giving someone some basic information to follow. I'm educating. And that's awesome. But personal training was such a narrow scope because you're talking to one person, I wanted to talk. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I totally agree. And the fact that's actually why I'm not, that's not why I'm not a personal trainer anymore, but the same way I wanted them to go through one package session with me and be able to do it on their own for the rest of their lives. And that is not a good business.
It's not a good way to make money. That's my point. It's like, this is horrible. I'm giving people too much information. But,
all right, let me get this plugged in so we don't die.
Take time. It's just strange. And that's what got me into YouTube. That wasn't that's not how I found YouTube, because I'd been watching YouTube for years prior, but that's when I was like, you know what? I dabbled with YouTube before. I should actually start making videos consistently, because it's something that I'm passionate about. And if you love doing something, it doesn't feel like work. I have an internship and I have another job and I have school, and there's a bunch of things I do that I feel like I kind of do them because I'm obligated to. And when I am educating people about fitness, I am genuinely happy and I love doing it. And I I enjoy every minute of it. And even if it's the annoying stuff like editing videos or like writing some type of script out, and it's all because I know it's part of a bigger picture and it's part of something that I've created and I love it.
So what's something that you would like to create in the future that would be able to hit more people besides YouTube?
Yeah, I think it requires some marketing, and it's just like, how am I going to put myself out there? How am I going to get more eyes on whatever it is that I'm doing? I love the idea of doing case studies because, you know, I've been bodybuilding for 5 years, like I said, and if you look back on my Instagram or anything in my life, I haven't ever posted narcissistic type of stuff where it's like, oh, this is my body, check out my mirror picture. It was kind of like, I have a personal Instagram that I'm kind of starting to add this content to, and I finally got comfortable putting fitness content out, and I only got comfortable doing it when it had some type of educational benefit. So I was okay posting a picture of, you know, my body, let's say if it's a transformation picture or something, if it was tagged to some video that was like, look, I'm trying to help people, check out my channel and support me. And I wasn't comfortable doing it just, you know, to try to get a protein sponsorship or something like that. I want a bigger picture, and the education tied into fitness and nutrition is something that it's what drives me.
So if you're trying to send someone information about how to break the cow from the steak in Walmart or the steak at whatever steakhouse you're going to, what information would you send to them to have them break that?
See, and here we go. I think it's my priorities, right? My priorities are what ring the highest to me, or what speak the truest to me. So I talk about the environment more than anything. And I know that's not what you might have been looking for, because a lot of people will say ethical things.
For whatever you want to look for.
Yeah. So a lot of people will give ethical things like, this. How do you not see that this is an animal? Would you kill your dog like that? Would you kill your cat? And I hate how people disconnect cats and dogs from pigs and cows, because they're the same thing and they have the same feelings. And some people, I saw, totally going on a tangent here, but I saw a comment section on a picture, and it was a story on some type of news site, and these two boys had taken like a BB gun and they shot a dog 16 times with the BB gun, right? I know it's awful, but the comment section was even worse than the article, because these kids were getting bashed, and the whole comment section was, do the same thing to these kids, hang these kids by the neck, shoot these kids with a gun, see how they feel. And it's like, you people are hypocrites. You people probably saying that as you eat a cheeseburger. A dog is an animal, and if you say that humans are more valuable than animals, which I could, you know, I guess I agree, this is our planet, right? But it's everyone's planet at the same time. But if you claim to have love for animals, you would not be saying things like that. So it put a lot of perspective onto things.
Right. I think I disagree on the fact that humans are more important, because I think it was Gary Yourosfsky. He said humans are the only species that if they were eradicated from this earth, it would improve the earth.
Yep.
They're the only ones. We're the only ones that fuck it up. And it's like, excuse my language.
No, it's okay. You can cuss me.
So I feel like people, and like there's this Facebook picture, and it was a dog, and he had duct tape around his mouth, and it was like duct tape.
Oh, I saw that.
And everyone was freaking out. They were like, oh, this woman needs to, she went to jail. They were like, she's going to jail, blah, blah, blah. And in the comment, I'm just like, yeah, if any of y'all aren't vegan, then shut the fuck up. Like,
seriously.
You are doing worse things when you eat a cheeseburger or a chicken wing to any animal than when that dog has a paper on its mouth. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, people claim to love animals when it's convenient and easy. You know, it's not. It's when you see a cute puppy, it's like, oh, I will cuddle the hell out of this puppy. But you know, it's hard to see the difference, and that's something I'm trying to cope with. And you said you disagree with the fact that, or with my opinion that I think, you know, humans are more important. And what I said,
just yours, everyone's. I'm like,
yeah, I know. I don't feel attacked. I'm just saying, like, I think humans are most important to humans. You know, and people care about their own species more, and that's just human nature. Yeah. And that's evolutionary nature, because in order for your species to survive, you have to care about your own species. So it's just something that we have ingrained in our DNA and our psyche to do. So that's why we repopulate, and we have less empathy for other animals. It is human nature. But I feel like we're at a point where we are stable enough. We do not need more growth, and we should start using our brains and thinking a little more like subjectively about what we're doing to animals.
Well, I actually want to go back to what both of us said about how, if you're an animal lover, you would be vegan, blah, blah, blah. Even though both of us were non-vegan until recently, right? I've only been vegan for a year, really a year. And so the whole point of this podcast is to help people break that disconnect, because I loved animals. Like I was telling the guy before, I would never kill insects. I have land out in East Texas. I would cry when my grandpa would kill snakes or turtles or anything, and I'm just like, but I could eat a chicken, I could eat a steak.
Disconnect.
I wanted to teach people how to break it quicker than it took me 25 years. It's a lot easier for us to say, okay, well, if you love animals, you should be vegan, because we're on this side, right? But I think before we were on this side, I think it was really hard for us to say that because we love chicken and steak.
Remember what I said earlier about there's two types of people?
Right.
Do you remember what they were? There's people that know and don't care, and there's people that don't know. And I feel like the ones that you're talking about, the ones who are young and eat meat and haven't really had this epiphany or this thought yet, they're the ones who don't know, and they're the ones who need to be informed, and that's why we're here. And that's why you and I are doing things like this. And that's why we make content to give people a choice, And the people that know and don't care, it's a different story. And there's people that are borderline. It's not so black and white. I feel like there's a gray area, and there's an area where you lead up, because I knew about the atrocities, and I'd seen, factory farms before I came vegan, a while before I came vegan. But it's a process. It's not something that snaps in your brain that fast, because it's you dismissing your previous culture. You're getting rid of a lifestyle. And that's hard to do. That's like leaving a girlfriend. That's like, moving out of state. It's not something that you could just accept, because you have to inform yourself. You have to practice, so that the meals and the shakes and the way you live is different.
No, I totally agree. I think for me, it took years of seeing and turning away, seeing those things on Facebook and looking away, or just hearing about it and being like, I don't want to know about that. I like chicken. I like steak. I don't want to hear about the factory farming. But then I don't know if you know my story. I don't know if you saw it on any of my social media, but I was a bodybuilder, and then I was diagnosed with autoimmune disease. I couldn't walk for 4 months, and they put me on really intense medicine, which is basically chemotherapy, but not cancer, just for autoimmune diseases. And so they told me that I was going to be on it for the rest of my life, and that's why I got off of dairy, because I did all this research, and it was like, dairy is the thing that causes everything. And then once it made such a drastic change in my life, I just decided to go vegan. And it's crazy, because it's so crazy, because I know if I wouldn't have gotten sick, I probably would not be vegan right now. And I am a smart, common sense, completely logical, passionate, caring person.
I can tell from talking to you for, 50 minutes. I like you. I like you a lot.
Well, thank you. I like you too.
Okay, but yeah, I get what you're saying about how you needed something like an illness to convert you, You
have to hit rock bottom, I think. And if that's physical or mental, whatever it needs to be, that's what you have to do.
So you have other circumstances that a lot of people might not have for going vegan, So would you have done it? Do you think you would have gone vegan if it wasn't for everything you went through?
I think I wouldn't have gone vegan as fast as I did, but I definitely want to look like I want to be a bomb ass old lady. Like I want to look like a supermodel when I'm 80 years old. So I think as I would have gotten older, I would have been like, oh, veganism makes you look good when you're older. Yes, let me do it.
It's incredible. I mean, who could honestly say that they don't want to look like a supermodel when they're 80? It's if something has been shown to increase longevity, and it's a no-brainer.
It's so crazy. I have an entire 2 entire pages of front and back celebrities that are vegan, and they're all the prettiest ones.
Oh yeah.
All of them. It's like, wow, yeah, I'm gonna be vegan. Cool. I want to be hot.
That'll be you eventually. I mean, not pretty, but celebrity. I mean, I see you. I see you going places and getting big. I seriously can't get enough of what you're doing here.
Oh, I love it. Okay, so right now it would be really. I want to see what your friends have to say. Ask them to finish this sentence. You would go vegan if.
Hey guys, Will, she wants me to ask you a question. Question is, just finish the sentence. You would go vegan if. I'll say your answer. I know she can't hear you. He said he would go vegan if it was a lot easier.
Like more accessible.
More accessible? Yeah, so like if society made it easier for you to do? Okay. Do you see like the benefit? I know we've talked a lot about it, but like do you see kind of my point? Do you think it is a healthier diet?
In moderation, but I don't think I'd ever go.
Healthier in moderation. Okay. And Jess, we got a same question to you. You would go vegan if?
I think if I was more educated on it.
If she was,
I love food.
if I was more educated on it, I would go vegan, but I love food.
like food that isn't necessarily vegan, so I would have to do my research and like try.
I would have to do my research. That's what she's saying. Yeah. You'd have to try new things. And that's a process for everyone though, you know?
If she wants to follow me on Snapchat, she can, because all I do is cook on the Snapchat, and all my meals are based on.
What's your Snapchat? I'll follow you too.
The same as my Instagram, Dark Sunshine.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but all my recipes are made for people that don't want to go vegan but have to. So it's like, you know, pastas, chilies, lasagnas. I just made bomb ass buffalo chicken wings last night. Oh my gosh. So
that's a really awesome way to put it, because that's kind of like that video I was talking about earlier, my 5 vegan meals that I made. They're vegan meals, but they don't look like it. Like there's chili and there's a burger and there's like a chipotle concoction, like a beans, rice, and then like fake chicken on top. And then I had one that's a pasta, and it's real food to a lot of people. That's like it's still close to your comfort zone enough that it doesn't feel like you're just eating plants and veggies. And Richard from VeganGains, this is like the 3rd time I've said his name, Jesus, but he eats raw veggies. He'll wake up in the morning and eat a huge bowl of fruit and like a head of broccoli or something. And I don't think I could ever do that, because remember I talked about I'd need 3,000 calories a day. And if I'm getting 3,000 calories a day from food that is really hard to chew and eat, and I won't be able to eat it, because I would get full off this much broccoli, but this much broccoli is probably 100 calories, you know?
Right. Well, and that's a lot of my family and friends. They're like, oh, you know, it's easy for you to go vegan. You've always been the fit chick. You're a hippie. It's just natural for you, blah, blah, blah. And that's why I love Snapchat, because they're like, I could never just eat salad and tofu all day. I'm like, bitch, you never seen salad or tofu? No, I hate salad. The only way salad is good is if you douse it in animal products like cheese and ranch and bacon bits. Like, no, I make real food for real people that's vegan. And
Damn, don't mess with Danny, all right? Damn, freaking Ratchet Daddy just came out.
I get real. That's the only time I get super ghetto, is when I get mad about vegan comments.
You started clapping. You're like, don't tell me.
I will not cook you my vegan chili unless you say you want to be vegan.
Not even gonna try it.
So something I think would be really cool for you to do and like document it, put on your YouTube, would be to invite maybe like 4 or 5 friends over and make let's say you invite 5 friends over, feeding 50 friends feeding 5 friends for $50, and then go and buy $50 worth of groceries and make a big vegan meal, and then also get their, you know, what do they think about it? Was it good? Was it bad? Like, that would be cool.
That is a great idea, and I'm always open to like opinions or like directions people think I should go with my channel, because I mean I feel like if you think you know more than other people, and if you have your own mindset, your own thoughts about what you should do with your channel, it's almost like it's just you versus the system. But if you have everyone's input, it's almost like having a little focus group. So I really appreciate all feedback, but that sounds like actually a really good idea, and I think that's what people would want to see.
Well, you have more subscribers than I do, but the reason I say that is because that's something I would want to watch. I've been trying to make my own video. I had a dinner last Wednesday, and I had all these firefighters come over, but they had to leave because they had a call, so I didn't get to make my video, and I didn't get their opinions about the food because I just sent it to go. So I'm trying to get other people to do it so I can see how they do it. I feel like no one's receptive to my vegan lifestyle here where I live.
Where do you live?
It's a really small town in North Texas called Van Alstyne.
And also, very cool.
The Van Alstyne. We're country.
Sounds really Texas.
We're the country folk.
Yeah.
So, okay, if you met this, let's say you had the opportunity to help a mid-America family. I call them a nuclear family, right? Your typical mom, dad, 50 years old, corporate jobs, 2 kids, tons of sports, super busy life. What is one meal that you would say, look, go for this? It's super easy, all your nutrients. What would you have them make?
One vegan meal?
Yeah. Or just one.
I feel like that's tough just because the way I eat, I really wouldn't like. I wouldn't call it like a great family style meal. What I do is I make meals that hit macros, and it's great for bodybuilders, but is it great for all your nutrients? Maybe not. So I'll have my vegan chili, which I'd probably say vegan chili. It has lentils, black beans, tomato sauce, and Beyond Beef. It's 4 ingredients. I make it because it's super simple, and I eat it with bread, of course, some nice vegan bread. And that is something I love making because it's so easy, and the 4 ingredients don't actually have to be cooked. So I could put that straight into Tupperware, take it wherever I'm going, and then heat it up or cook it when I get to wherever I'm going. So it's efficient, it's great for on the go. And then the way I get, let's say, my nutrients and my greens and stuff is shakes. It's shakes and then maybe small portions of vegetables, like some boiled Brussels sprouts or something like that. But I don't like sit down and pig out on veggies. So shakes and chili. That's kind of like, it's great for bodybuilding. But I wouldn't call it good for like a nuclear family just because that's not what they're used to, you know?
Actually, it's crazy that you mentioned that. Right before our interview, I was shoving my vegan chili and basmati rice down my throat because I was so hungry.
Oh, yeah.
I don't put lentils in it. I need to do that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and someone was talking to me earlier about, okay, I use a pasta from Ancient Harvest. It's lentil and quinoa pasta. And I like it because one box is 800 calories and about 60 grams of protein. So it's a lot of protein in a box. And a box is about a serving for me. I'll eat a whole box. So yeah, but someone told me that there's a lentil and black bean pasta too, which I guess is even higher in protein, obviously, because black beans have higher protein content than quinoa. So I need to check that out. I need to get to a store that has that. And that's something too. I mean, spaghetti and meat sauce, spaghetti bolognese, that's something that Americans love, right?
Yeah, so when that's what I made for the firefighters. I had spaghetti with meat sauce and mushrooms and a bunch of vegetables in it, nutritional yeast, and then I had chili to go. So when's the last time that you messed up, or even if it was on purpose, you're like, you knew it was steak or chicken or something, and what was your thought process on it? Like, how'd you recover?
I haven't messed up at all yet. There's one thing I say, and it's a personal. Okay, it's like it's yourself that you're trying to prove it to, which is way more important than the social environment I'm trying to prove it to. I have nothing to prove to my friends and family. It's me being honest and doing something because I honestly want to, and no one's forcing me to do this. So it's not like I feel like I have to like sneak some chicken. But there was one time I had there's this place called Bashi. It's a restaurant, and it's like Japanese Asian cuisine. And I got it was rice noodles, little stir-fried tofu, and I ate it. And then someone told me after that, oh, it's like an oyster sauce. The sauce is oyster. And I don't even know what that means. I'm not sure if it's like the juice from an oyster, if it's actually like blended oysters. But I didn't really care too much. I felt like, you know what? It's one thing, and it's not going to interrupt my study, because what I'm trying to remove is like animal-based proteins and cholesterol and once it was probably an eighth cup of sauce just mixed in with some pasta. So it doesn't concern me, and I'm comfortable enough that I don't feel like I should be ashamed of that, you know?
Right. And the reason I like asking that question is because I feel like non-vegans feel like vegans feel like they're perfect. So we don't. Like, we mess up all the time. So do you believe that the world will go vegan? Not 100%, but the majority, where it's like weird to eat meat all the time?
Nope. I don't believe anything happens in totality. I don't think you could say that we will never eat meat, because there's always going to be people that do. Changing culture is a process. I think we're going to... There's companies like you've obviously heard of Beyond Meat, and there's companies that are putting out imitation meat, right? That is very delicious. And I think companies like Carl's Jr. and McDonald's and these fast food companies will start incorporating that because they're going to see a market for it. And once they see a market for it, and there's options available everywhere you go, it's going to be so much easier. Like, remember, I just asked Will, and his number one problem was the ease of being a vegetarian or vegan. It's tough to do because you have to work. It becomes another job. And for someone who's a student, they're working. It's not something that it sounds exciting. It doesn't sound exciting. It just sounds like, okay, I have to cook more food and I can't eat when I go out. It sucks. But eventually culture will change.
And that only happens at the beginning, I've noticed. Like, I can do anything now and eat vegan, but at the very beginning, I was like, how do I order? Where do I go eat? All this stuff. But now I'm like, let's go to Chipotle.
Chipotle, I used to eat Chipotle like 4 times a week. I still eat it like 3 times a week at least, but I just do it a different way. You get a veggie bowl. I get double brown rice and double black beans because those are both free, so you can double up. And then I'll add some guacamole in, and then I put that Beyond Chicken on top, and it is just as good to me. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's...
You don't do the sofaritas?
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll do sofaritas, but not all the time.
So back onto the dating thing. When you start dating again, will it be a deal breaker if they're a vegan or not, or do you not care?
I don't care. I want... A requirement of mine is like an open-minded woman and someone who at least can understand me and why I'm doing it. But if they don't want to change, I don't hold that against them. It's not a requirement for me, but it's required, I guess, to date. Like, they need to know that this is something that I do. And if that means we can't ever go to In-N-Out, and if you love In-N-Out, I'm sorry, but I can't take you there.
Right.
And it creates obstacles and hurdles, and if they understand that, then I don't need them to be vegan.
So I definitely want to have you back on the podcast a month after your experiment.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. You're an awesome person. I wish you lived in California because I want to hang out with you now.
Well, it's funny. I'm actually moving to LA, or the outskirts of LA, July 15th.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Well, what are 2 goals that you have for yourself in 2016, and then where can everyone reach you at?
2 goals for myself. Geez. See, I like the present. I like living in the present. Goals are awesome, obviously. I graduate, and I set these goals. One, I guess, as far as YouTube is concerned, when I started, which was this year, it was January 1st, when I started uploading consistently, I said I want 1,000 subscribers. I'll do whatever it takes to get 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And it's looking like I'll hit that in June. So I'm very, very happy with the progress on that. So, I mean, growing my social media and just finding a life that I like. Because like I said, I work in Hollywood, and I live in very southern Los Angeles, Port Town. So it's about an hour and 20 minutes of LA traffic to get to work, and then an hour and 20 minutes home. So I'm doing, I have a corporate job, and I just feel like I'm wasting time there. And I don't want that. I want to be dedicating more time to things I love. And even if it's less money, even if I'm, just making ends meet, I will be so much more happy. Like I said, just doing stuff like this conversation, this is technically work, right? This is content for you. I will share the hell out of this, and this is a resume builder for me. It's awesome. And doing things you love, I'm starting to realize is so much more important than money. But anyway, you said 2 goals. Now, what was the last thing?
Well, you didn't give me your second goal.
Second goal. I mean, it's coming soon, but when I started 2016, I wanted to graduate college and move out and get myself in a comfortable living situation. So I guess that applies. I want to just finish school, which it's very soon. I mean, it's almost here, but yeah, I can't wait, kind of. But part of me is going to miss it. I know I'm going to miss it because there's no better time in your life than when you're doing things with your friends and everyone you meet kind of has the same mindset as you. And Cal State Long Beach is awesome because everyone here is commuters. They all drive to school as opposed to living there like someone who goes to UCLA or USC. Everyone here comes from a background kind of similar to mine where your parents don't have insane amounts of money to send you wherever you want to go. So everyone here has to work. So it's a great group of people. You have less free time because everyone's busy on weekends. Sorry, we got soccer game in the background.
The last thing was just tell everyone where they can find you.
Okay, so I am Muscle and Mind on YouTube. It's youtube.com/muscle, the letter N, mind. So it's no spaces, and that's my YouTube, and that's where I upload most of my vegan content. I have a personal Instagram if you want to follow that, which is just Joey_Schloeder. So my last name, Joey_Schloeder. And that, like I said, it's personal. I do post some vegan stuff on there, and I kind of update my study on there, and I'll put some YouTube plugs on there. But that's more for my personal stuff. And a lot of my social media is kind of personal.
Look at the body on that.
So that is right before I started going vegan, and I am a lot leaner than that now. I cannot wait to bring it for these pictures. I'm probably gonna get a photo shoot done for my after thing. So I want to.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You can totally see your man package.
Hey, come on.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, you're awesome, and I'm just very excited that I did this today.
That's it for this week. Wasn't he awesome? Thank you so much for listening, and if you have any questions about becoming vegan or you're wanting to be on the podcast, please contact me at any social media. That's Dark Sunshine, DARKSUNSH 9. I can't wait to meet you.